We met many years ago here at FLII. Now I'm again, not as an attendee, as a host. I joined New Ventures, our hosts, as a partner 2 years back. I joined founder Rodrigo and Armando Laborde as a partner. As I said, we brought to the company, to the holding, to this impact holding, a new business unit that has to do with advisory, innovation, a bit more technical, doing financial design, impact metrics. Sometimes we work for the group, designing an impact measurement and management framework for a very exciting new outcomes-based scheme by our financial vehicle, Biwala. And we also advise external organizations. We're working with corporations, with multilaterals. So doing interesting bits of work, helping whichever organization wants to speed up and scale up and do it with integrity on their impact path. There we are. And learning a new journey, right? Now, for example, we are doing a very interesting piece of work with Oxxo, like the massive retailer in Mexico. They have a whole program based on improving lives of adults through employment and training, but they had no evidence of what they are doing. They had no framework for measurement that. So we're working with them to create the technical framework and to help them improve and fight hard for metrics, not for inputs, for outcome metrics, not for inputs. So it's been fascinating to enter such an amazing group. So we are present now in different countries. My team and my business unit runs from Buenos Aires in Argentina. We have the big team here in Mexico, New Ventures Capital in Colombia and Ecuador. So we're getting wider and longer in a way. I read your article. I recommend it to Impact Alpha readers. Very fact-based and optimistic. Yet, when you talk to people, not everyone feels as optimistic. I think both are true. What makes us, a bit less optimistic has to do that, think about 2030. When we first met, 2030 was, the mega future. It was like Back to the Future. It was nothing. It was an intangible. Now we're around the corner from 2030, and Latin America in particular is doing terrible in terms of getting close to the SDGs. We are on the verge of failing to deliver 12 of the 17. We still have a persistent financing gap of at least $650 billion a year to meet the SDGs. So when you look at the big picture, the incremental pace of the growth in the sector is super interesting, it's super encouraging. Comparing to the need, we are yet not there. And I think the 2-3 next years is the moment where we really need to deliver at scale and we really need to achieve a breakthrough. Today, being here this week, obviously, I feel super optimistic and full of energy, but it's kind of a responsibility because we come out of an event like FLII, feeling that it is possible. Well, now Monday, when we go to our works, everyone here, whether you're an investor, entrepreneur, big corporate, hopefully people will walk out of FLII 2024 inspired to really be conscious that the urgency is there, probably like never before. One thing that we're working on super heavily, because we're still working and we are super honored to continue working with the GSG globally, the Global Steering Group for Impact Investment. So out of Buenos Aires, we continue to deliver their whole policy program. We're working a lot on what we call the agenda of impact transparency. It's quite technical. It has to do with the new and emerging standards for reporting, sustainability, and impact. We are part of 6 of the more important standard setting boards, including I'm the only Latino in the ISSB Consultative Committee for Sustainability. And I think that, take for example the case of Brazil. Brazil announced that ISSB S1 and S2, so the new sustainability norms on climate and general sustainability by the IFRS Foundation, they will be for voluntary adoption, available from the 1st of January this year. But they say they will be mandatory from the 1st of January 2026. So imagine that game changer. Imagine the Brazilian corporates having to disclose sustainability information under a common global framework. And we're talking about Brazil, right? The largest economy. We're pushing hard through the NAPs and through the GSG to elevate that discussion. So that's a trend that probably that change will come from regulatory pressure, like in the case of Brazil. And I hope to see, I think we will see more and more pressure for investors that will not be happy to invest in just anything. And they will not be happy with your standard, not that reliable, blurry sustainability report. They will want integrity in the metrics. And I think that, bottom up, we're doing a lot. but I'm also hopeful that across the value chains of your clients, of your investors, under regulation, that pressure hopefully will get us there. Well, Latin America doesn't tend to be region number one, as you know, because we are in this paradox of being too developed for being emerging, but too emerging for being developed. Latin America, we tend to think about it as one single block from Mexico to Argentina, but there are like 26 countries. We speak the same language, we love each other, we don't have any interstate conflict, but the realities and the fundamentals of each country are super, super different. So today it takes the case of my home country of Argentina where I operate. Well, today it's a very complicated environment for investment, period, one-on-one. You want to start a coal mine, it's complicated. You want to build weapons, it's complicated. It's not about impact. I think in markets like Colombia and Mexico, despite the Colombians and Mexicans will complain about their environment, they are way better. Brazil now has an opportunity, leading G20 this year, leading COP next year. And I think that two things. The international investors will not come in if they don't see domestic capital mobilization. International capital is not a first mover, so they need to see skin in the game from players like the ones we see here in FLII. So I hope not to start by the international, but I hope to see more domestic mobilization from local investors, from corporates, from high net worth individuals, from family offices. That is kind of crucial. And it's the region of biodiversity. We're not that many in terms of people, right? If you compare us with anything, India or Africa or whatever it is. But I think in terms of climate and the biodiversity services and the natural services we have to offer, we have a big opportunity in turning those into real assets for ecosystemic services, or we have a massive risk of not doing so and letting them follow a path of decadence as they've been following the last 20 to 30 years. I would put my bet on Brazil. Maybe I'm too biased because of the work we're doing with the Brazil nav of the GSG under the G20. But today there's something in the thinking of the Brazilian government in terms of impact and commitment to the environment that I'm not seeing in any other government in Latin America. So hopefully Brazil, our big brother, our beloved big brother, will guide us in this journey. As Latinos, we need to be more active in shaping those standards, and we need to be more active in educating ourselves on how to translate that and how to respond to the global agenda. So, Dennis, I hope we meet next year here or anywhere and to report progress on this. But believe me, 2025 to 27 will be crucial years for more impact transparency, and I think that will influence capital mobilization for good, hopefully, if we get it right.